Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Friday, February 23rd, 2024. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, and you can see where I'm at. I made it down here. Give you a quick pan of the area. There's the Superstition Mountains themselves right in the background. Isn't that magnificent? Yeah, got here a little bit early to look around the museum a little bit. Of course, you all know I work at the museum in Payson. And that's their main museum, but they have all this outside stuff, and I'll show you a little bit of that in some different segments. But our program is going to be tonight, and tomorrow night, and Saturday night. I guess we're presenting all 3 nights. And our program starts at 4:30 and goes till 7:30, or the program, I should say. It's probably not all going to be about us. But anyway, I'm here. I'll bring you a little bit of it in segments as soon as I figure out what the deal is here myself. So let me walk over here just a little bit. This is a Friday afternoon. They're fairly busy over there. Give you a little pan. You can see my van over there parked over at the side. I'll get back with you a little later. Wandered around the museum grounds, and one of the things they've got here, I didn't even know they had. But take a look at this thing. This is precious. And somebody puts a whole lot of work into doing this. I guess it's the Model Railroad Club. It's a big U-shaped affair here it's in the outdoors. Look at the detail work here. Oh, there's a dog. Got to say hi to the dog. Oh, looks like they had a crash down there in the gully. And that one's going pretty quick because he's going downhill. Take a look at that thing. Is that thing not cool? I just can't imagine the amount of work they put into this. Up there they've got that's a replica of a stamp mill, and we've got a bunch of other stuff here as well, and I'll try to plug in a couple other segments in here. But right now I thought just got to give you a look at that train. It's just amazing. They're going to shut that thing down here, and they said here in about a half an hour they're going to shut it down for the day. But this whole outside business here is just really something. I'll come back and bring you some more from the museum, but I'll get back with you here in a little bit. Well, good evening. Good evening, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Saturday night, February 24th. Somebody's flashing a light at me. 2024, and you can see it's just about dark, and we're actually out here at the edge of the Superstition Wilderness, and we're going to do a night set. So let me show you the group. First of all, we'll turn around. There's Kevin and Brenda. There's Kathy and Rob. And Chris and Linda and Wayne on the end. Everybody say hi.
Hi, everybody.
That's our pretty much the whole Arizona 4 group, because there's more than 4 of us. And we're going to sit out here for a while tonight and see if anything happens. So I'll be back and tell you about it. If it comes to anything, I'll definitely give you a full report. But let me give you a quick pan around. This is right at the edge of the Superstition Wilderness area, and the main part of the Superstition Mountains is back over there.
That's north.
Which way?
South. That's southeast. No, north is like north. That's south. South. That's south. That's south.
So anyway, looking up the trail, it's a little darker than it seems like on the camera. It's about a little after 4 on Sunday, and the program starts at 4:30. So they're starting to get everything set up. I don't know how much of this. Just had a golf cart sliding his tires in the background. Don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to shoot, but this is kind of a venue. We're inside the barn, and they got the screen set up, and they're getting ready to go. I'll bring you what I can.
The way the area in this particular spot was, and the rock that was thrown
This is Kevin starting his presentation.
landed right behind this big juniper tree that I was leaning up against. And of course, we all jumped up screaming, and the scout leaders, we had to wake them up. And this went on and on all night long. And finally, the scout leaders finally had heard what was going on, because what had happened when they woke up the last time was a very large tree got snapped. And when you're out in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the night, it's bottom of a coal mine dark, and a pine tree that was about 6-7 inches in diameter gets snapped in half at about 9.5, 10-foot level. That'll get your attention real quick. Well, that's when the scout leaders jumped up saying, "Oh crap," and one pulled out a 44 Magnum, fired a shot in the air, and we could hear what sounded like an elephant running through the trees. Got a little ways away and let out this, "Whoa!" We didn't sleep the rest of the night. Never even equated it to Bigfoot, because Bigfoot lived in the Pacific Northwest. We grew up with the stories of the Mogollon Monster, and that's what we thought it was a monster, and we were going to be eaten alive. And the fact that I ever even went back out in the wilderness after that, I can't explain why, but it's just what I'm drawn to do. Fast forward, the TV show Finding Bigfoot came out, and so I got real interested in that. I don't know anything, and I just got to see what's going on the TV, and it's something that I found interesting, so I watched every episode. In season 3, they did an episode up in Payson, Arizona, and Mitch was on that episode. Yeah, that one right there. So that's the tree I was leaning against, and there's the drainage right behind it. If you can see off in the distance where the backside of that other hill is, that's how far the rock had got thrown, and the rock was about this big. And throughout the night, as he was harassing us, as we thought, could hear him walking down that hill and coming back up, just the left-hand side of that juniper tree. And I'm here to tell you, it was terrifying. But so, with the the Finding Bigfoot show, every time we'd go out camping with the family and that, not knowing what we're doing, it's like, hey, let's go bang on a tree, so take an axe handle and hit a tree, and really never had anything happen until June of 2017, and my son and I decided to go out for a walk, see if we could find footprints. And so lo and behold, we found a footprint. And then about 6 feet past it, we found the left footprint, and then we found the right footprint. We're all like, "Oh my God," and all excited about it, taking pictures, which of course didn't show up because it's half summit and half shadow. But so there's this big drainage. We decided, let's go down into the drainage, see if we can find any footprints down there. And he's leading down the hill, and I'm behind him, and I hear a wood knock. And I was like, looking at my son to see if he heard it, and he's just bebopping down the hill. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'm just hearing things. And we get down the bottom of the hill, and in this big sand area, and looking around, and just can't find anything at all. And all of a sudden we hear right back up where we were, but about 60 yards farther down. It sounded like a Louisville slugger hitting the side of a pole. And so we're excited, and so we're looking around, trying to find a branch that we can use that's sturdy enough and not going to shatter into a million pieces, trying to do a knock on the tree. And after about 10 minutes, we find one, do a knock, get a knock. Oh my God, there's one right over there. So my son says, I want to do it. So my son does a knock. Knock, knock comes back. So now we're super, super, super excited. And, and me being the kind of person I am, I've spent most of my life in the outdoors, wilderness survival, tracking. I want to see this thing. And so we go back up the hill and we start doing tactical movements, trying to sneak up on them. And we get to, I got to back up. While we were down there, I decided to do a whistle. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just mirroring what I've seen off of Finding Bigfoot. And, so I do a whistle. Well, the other side of this ravine, get another whistle back. Different tone, different length of whistle, so it was not an echo. And so now like there's two of them. But anyway, I want to see this one up here, so we're trying to, you know, leapfrog and doing tactical movements, trying to get up to them. And we get to this certain spot, and it's like all of a sudden, it's like I hit a brick wall, and I get this immense feeling to go back to camp. I'm not supposed to be there. And so I look at my son, and he's kind of, Dad, do you feel that? And I said, yeah, I feel that. I said, we're not supposed to be here. We're interfering with something. Let's go back to camp. So we start bebopping back to camp. Well, as we turn around, get about 6 steps, we hear at least 5 solid, heavy landfalls, or footfalls. Boom, boom, walking away from us. And where it was on the other side of the dogwood thicket, you know, young pine trees, and so we couldn't see anything. And at that point in time, I was like, well, we're not supposed to be out here. You know, I respect the land, I respect nature. Let's go back to camp. Walking back to camp, we get to, I find this stump. It's about this high in the air. It's a tree rock. And so I take out a granola bar and I say, I'm sorry if I interfered with you. Please accept this. If you want it, you can have it. And I'm going back to camp. And so we started walking back to camp. I get back to camp and I'm like, trail camera. I want to get pictures of this. So I go and get my trail camera, set the trail camera up about 18 feet away. Granola bar is opened up. Anything that takes that granola bar, even if it's a chipmunk, I'm going to have photographs. And so later on that night, the grandkids are playing with chem lights and they're flying through the air, and I'm like going, huh, I got an idea. So I take a chem light and my son, and we go back out there because I'm going to put it next to the granola bar as a attractant. And we get back out there and half of the granola bar is gone. And I'm like, holy hell. I've got photographs of Bigfoot or a bear or elk or something, but whatever took it, I've got the photos. I'm gonna get rich, you know. I don't know anything at this point in time. And so, my son and a couple other people went back out there later that night, kind of got chased out of there, got grunted at, had some rocks tossed in their direction, so they came back real quick. Next morning, we're packing up to leave, so I go get my trail camera, and I'm going through it. And I got the pictures of when I set the trail camera up, and I got pictures of when I came and put the chem light there, and I got pictures of when my son and son-in-laws, and then went back out there. Whatever took that half of that granola bar, no pictures. Well, I'd seen enough on the the Finding Bigfoot show that somehow that they have the ability to manipulate electronics. You know, there's a couple episodes where somebody talked about that. And I'm looking at my trail camera, which I've used many times. I'm like, there's absolutely no possible way that whatever took that, I did not get a picture of it. And I was deeply confused about it. And, you know, so we packed up, went home, and after about a week and a half, I'm thinking to myself, well, I need to contact the BFRO, you know, because once again, I don't know anything. And, you know, so I go on the BFRO webpage and I fill out a report on what had happened, talking about the footprints we found and, you know, everything I just explained. And I didn't hear anything back for a little bit. It was about a week and a half, and one night I get a phone call from Chuck Jacobs, who is with us tonight. He's one of my primary research partners. We've been doing this ever since. But he called me up and I told him what I experienced and everything. I wanted to know if I could take him back, if I could find that spot again. I said, oh, hell yeah, I'll take you right back there. And he goes, well, when can you come up? I said, I'm retired. I'll come up right now, except we had monsoon storms, so we had to wait for that to clear out. And so after a couple of weeks, we meet up and we go out to this particular campsite, which I now refer to as Squatch Camp. And that is when my entire life absolutely changed. We're sitting there, you know, I'm wanting to take him out and show him where the footprints and all this stuff. He's like, just relax, we're out here for 3 days. We got plenty of time to do this, let's get to know each other. What do you know about Bigfoot? Well, I know they're real. Other than that, I don't know much about them. And so he starts explaining to me about all these different camps, there's the apers, the ones who think they're a descendant of Gigantopithecus blackie. And I'm like, well, what I seen in the Patty film, that's not an ape. And he says, and then there's the camp where they're flesh and blood, and you know, and then you have woo, and I'm like, woo, and he goes, you know, woo, and I was like, well, what a bunch of, you know, he's explaining to me some of their thoughts. I was like, what a bunch of crackpots. He's like, well, wait a minute, if you're going to continue on in this, you have to keep an open mind. Best advice that was ever given to me. And so that's what I did. And that very first night that we were out there, it was about, what was it, about 3/4 of a moon, Chuck?
Roughly, as I recall.
Yeah, somewhere between 3/4 and full moon. It was pretty bright out. The moon was starting to come up. And we're sitting facing each other. He keeps looking off to his right, and he goes, you know, I think I see one standing over there. And I couldn't see where he was looking because of a large pine tree that was right there, but I was more concerned of what was off to my right, because I kept getting this feeling, I'm watching you. Everything's okay, but I'm watching you. That's how I felt. And you know, so I'm more concerned about what's going on over here, but yeah, I want to see what's going on over here, but where he's looking, I got a big tree in the way. You know, so he's doing his thing, and I decide I need to get up and get a bottle of water. So I go to the truck, get a bottle of water, and I come back, and he goes, I think I'm getting zapped. Well, what the hell is that? You know, so he's trying to explain that to me, and it, you know, at the time it was just like this little electrical charge feeling he was getting in his head. And I said, you know, I was feeling something like that too, but you know, it was more, you know, in my torso, most of my body. And you know, so now I'm really going, what the hell is going on here? You know, I'm a very analytical guy. I'm a nuts and bolts guy. I like figuring things out. And so we're sitting there, and this kind of stuff is going on throughout the night. Now we hear them walking around the camp. And, you know, one will walk and post over here, and another one will walk and post over here. So now we've got them around us. But I'm sitting there, and I'm looking back off in the direction where I'm getting this I'm watching you feeling. And I said, Chuck, is there any reports of their eyes glowing green? You know, like a chem light kind of fluorescent glow? And he goes, absolutely. I said, I just saw that. Well, do you know how high off the ground it was? No, but I know about where it is in reference to my truck. We can check it out the next morning. And there was just one eye. It peeked out from behind a tree. And we estimated about 10-footer. And so now I'm like going, this is absolutely insane. This is how the rest of that trip went. It just kept getting more intense and more
This is just a little snippet of Kevin's presentation. I can't record the whole thing, but I'll bring you some more here in a little bit. Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Monday morning, February 26, 2024. I never shot a closing to the video over there at the event at the museum, and so I figured I better do that this morning. I'm actually on the road. I'm on my way home, and it was the event was interesting. I think it probably could have been organized quite a bit better, but it was the first time they tried it. But let me show you a little bit about where I'm going here. Those of you from the Phoenix area will know exactly where this is at. There's the river. And there's the river the other direction. This is pretty spectacular country. It's cloudy this morning and actually spitting rain a little bit. But as you know, if you watch the rest of the video, the previous part of this video is that we spent the last 3 days down at this paranormal event, and so it went. Kevin did a good job last night with his presentation, and if you see that flashing red light, this area is real popular with bicyclists. But what I wanted to show you is the spectacular mountains and the spectacular cliffs here. It's just a really beautiful area. It's along the Salt River going into Metro Phoenix, and we're going to go around an area called by Swirl Lake, and before we hit the highway to head back up toward where I live. But I really appreciate I stayed the last 3 nights, parked the van at my friend's house, my friend Rob and Kathy, and I really appreciated their hospitality. They opened up the house to a bunch of us, and we all stayed there. I was going to turn that around, but I'm sure you'd rather look at them pretty mountains than look at my mug. But as you can see, it's kind of stormy out. Anyway, Rob and Kathy treated me just like family, and I really appreciated that. And they made me feel like family, even though the family I felt like kind of was like the crazy old uncle that shows up out of nowhere and hangs around for a few days and drinks all your coffee and eats you out of house and home. But I do appreciate their hospitality, and I hope I can repay it adequately sometime. But now it's time to be back on the road. It's time to head back home. So let me tell you, as I always do, take care of each other and love each other and take care of yourself, and keep an open mind about things that we don't understand, because there's a whole lot of things out there that we don't know anything about that's going on. And so right now I'll give you one more look at this is Four Peaks right in front of us. Over there is the beautiful cliffs. And so right now I guess there's nothing more to do, but until I talk to you again, just tell you peace out.